for those of you who don't know Nexford University, we are 100% online university. Even though we are fully online, we are based out of Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States. And really our vision or our mission is to provide access to high quality online education to learners around the world. I mean, we really want to become the most affordable and global US university providing access. I have been in this sector for over 25 years. I've worked with universities in the United States for the majority of that time, but I've also worked with universities in Europe and also with universities in Latin America. And we all want the same thing. Nexford is really committed to what we call democratizing higher education, making it accessible, affordable, and most important, relevant. Some of the things that you just heard from Jobhun, become applicable to our MBA programs, because we want to make sure that when you complete the degree at Nexford, you are job ready. You go out there and whatever you're learning in our courses is exactly what you're going to be seeing in the workplace. So we have focused our curriculum around those competencies, those skills that professionals need in today's digital world. Right now, we have about 2,400 learners from 80 plus different countries. So Indonesia is definitely one of them. So we have learners in Southeast Asia, we have learners in Africa, we have learners, of course, in the US, we have learners in Europe, we have learners in Latin America, 80 plus countries. Imagine the kind of network that you have access to. You are going to be connecting with other learners from other parts of the world with different backgrounds, different experiences, and you're all going to be in the same classroom. This makes, social learning go to the next level. Can you move to the next slide? So our MBA program is very straightforward. It consists, we have access to 26 different courses, but it doesn't mean that you have to complete 26 courses to graduate. You only need to complete a total of 12. The reason why we have so many courses is because we have a diversity of specializations, which, as you can see, are very relevant to the needs and the problems that you see in today's global space. Sustainability. Everybody wants to really improve sustainability in all sectors around the world. Doing business across the world. Today, every business is not local. Every business wants to expand frontiers and go around the world and be global. They want to expand to other regions and other countries. Enabling e-commerce. We live in a digital interconnected world, and e-commerce has become kind of like taken center stage in the business market space. Advanced artificial intelligence and the future of automation. So all of us know about big data science, and how all of that has informed, training and creating connections between technologies and the human mind. And then managing hyperconnectivity, everything that is related to the Internet of Things, and how all of us today are here together thanks to the internet. So these are 5 areas of specialization that you can choose in your MBA, or you can just have a Master of Business Administration, which focuses on general business. So the total requirements are 12 courses or 36 credits. Every course is 3 credits. If you want to do a specialization, then you take 10 core classes and 3 specialization courses, and that would for a total of 39 credit hours. How long does an MBA degree take? We've seen at Nexford learners completing their MBA as short as 9 months, and others that have taken their time and have completed their MBAs in like a year and a half, which is the beauty of our model, because our model is affordable and it is flexible, meaning you can take as many courses as you want and can take, as long as you maintain good academic standing, a good GPA. So you can take up to 3 or 4 courses every term, and our terms run every month. So you can complete a course, which is usually 8 weeks, and start, for example, September 1st. And then if you complete 3 courses or 2 courses in September 1st through October 1st, some learners can complete courses in 4 weeks, even though we design them so that you can complete them in 8 weeks. But if you want to, if you have, a lot of time available and you would like to complete those courses in a month, you're more than free to do that, and then start another group of courses on October 1st. And so you can complete your program faster that way. But we have learners that, they have families, they work full time, and they want to take, 1 or 2 courses at a time. And that is also perfectly okay. We are here to adapt to the needs of all of our learners. So making it accessible and flexible enough and dynamic so that you can complete courses as fast or as slow as you need to. Can you move on to the next slide, please? So what are some, to me, this is like, I've built this curriculum, and I've worked with the faculty, I've worked with experts and scholar practitioners. And one of the things that I really love about our MBA, which I have not seen in any other university that I've worked, and I've worked with many universities, is that the curriculum has been built around competencies and skills. Every course that you complete has a set of skills and competencies. We have really taken a closer look at every single course and determined, what are the skills that learners are going to achieve when they complete this course. So when they complete that course, whether it is in 4 weeks or 8 weeks, what are the competencies that we can say that learner will achieve? And this is based on how the curriculum was designed. What we did was we mined data from millions of jobs. We interviewed Fortune 500 leaders. We interviewed learners, MBA learners from around the world. And then we extracted all of that knowledge, and we decided, okay, this is what a marketing strategist needs to know. This is what an accountant needs to know. This is what a financial analyst needs to know. This is what an entrepreneur needs to know. And all of those skills, we went ahead and combined them into different courses, and that's how we built our MBA. So all the skills that you need in today's workplace has been thought of when we designed our curriculum. And that's why we call it future proof, because what you're learning today is very applicable to today's environment, but also to the future. So we're kind of looking at education version 2030, meaning, in 10 years from today, what are the skills and the competencies that these students are going to need? It is course-based, competency-based model. What does that mean? That every course is very specific to a set of competencies. So it's not like you have to complete 4 courses in order to achieve a number of competencies. No, every course will give you a set of competencies. And once you complete those competencies, you can then even get like some sort of a credential that says, you know what? Sheila Fournier completed this course, and these are the competencies that she achieved by completing that course. Our credentials are stackable, which even makes it like more valuable for your investment. So what does that mean? That means that every course that you take, that you complete, can add up to either be a badge that is kind of like a certification. If you know what a badge means, consider it like a certificate of knowledge. Not all of our courses in the MBA have badges, but we do have about 6 badges in the MBA program. And every time you complete it, as you're completing the degree, you're also getting those badges. The other valuable thing about the MBA is that you also have access to 3 advanced certificates. If you complete core courses and if you complete specialization courses, not only are you completing the MBA degree with a specialization, but you're also completing the MBA degree with a specialization and with an advanced certificate. The MBA program has 3 certificates, one in artificial intelligence, the other one in global issues, which focuses on area of cultural awareness and internationalization, and a third one on global business, which is how to do business with countries from different countries around the world. The curriculum is also global, which is, it makes it relevant. So for all of you, you'll have the opportunity to apply whatever you're learning in your courses to the Indonesian market, and maybe to your company, the company that you're currently working on. So we want to make sure that the content is not focused just for US learners or for the United States, even though we're a US university, or for learners in Brazil, for example. No, we have the opportunity to make it flexible enough so that whatever you're learning in the courses, you can apply to Indonesia specifically. And then all of our practice activities are skills-based. So it's not going to be like, oh, read, this chapter and answer these questions. That's not the way that our curriculum is designed. Our curriculum is designed like, listen to this podcast, visit the Jobhun website, or go to YouTube and do some research around expanding globally. And then you have to be the role player of, for example, being the supply chain manager at Amazon, and you're wanting to expand your warehouses to Southeast Asia. What kind of strategic plan do you need to build in order to make that transition seamless? What kind of cultural analysis or environmental scan do you have to do? What will your marketing strategy look like? So those are the types of projects. And I'm going to show you some examples here in the next slide, so that you can get a sense of some of how cool, these assessments are in our MBA Nexford courses. Can you move to the next slide? So, here's just like, one example of a practice assessment. Here we have a question that says, what marketing principle should we avoid when looking at taking a product or service to international markets? So they're very interactive. You're not going to go into our platform, which we called the Nexford learning environment, and your assessments are not going to be like reading a lot of text and then answering questions. But here is like, here's your context. You listen to the YouTube video or the podcast, or you listen to a short 1-minute video that we have created, maybe your professor talking in that video, and then you answer a series of questions. So all of our activities and assignments are directly aligned with these competencies and skills. All these practice activities are low stakes, like they're opportunities so that you can kind of accumulate knowledge. So it's not like you're expected to implement a plan. Every module is like little nuggets. Think of it of little nuggets of knowledge that you accumulate. So you learn in module 1 the basics, and then by module 2 you start applying some of those basic principles. By module 3 you maybe work with a partner in the course to kind of come up with a project. Then you start building on that project, and then by module 6 you present the project to an audience, as if you were presenting to your supervisor, as if you were presenting to a board of directors, for example. So just to give you a sense of what the courses will look like, interactives, it's like playing, clicking here, flipping cards, asking yourself some questions, and that will give you some good understanding. It makes your learning very dynamic, not like linear, that you're reading a lot of content and then working on some assignments. Let's move on to the next slide. So here's another one. We have very relevant final projects. This is how we assess competency achievement. This is how we know, and we can tell you, how do I know that I really learned what you said I was going to learn in this course? And it is through these final projects that we have designed that you go ahead and pretty much take all of the learnings that you have taken, that you have gathered from modules 1 through 5, and then you apply it into a final project. The purpose of these final projects, are pretty much available from the first day that you access the course. So you start understanding a little bit about the requirements of this project in module 1, and you're going to start learning in module 1 things that you're going to be applying into that final project. You get to do 2 milestones for that project before submitting the final deliverable. Those milestones are usually due in weeks 3 and weeks 5. In those 2 weeks, you start kind of breaking apart, like let's say that the final project is building a marketing plan for your company, for the company that you're working on. Maybe, your company is getting ready to launch a new product. and you want to take this as an opportunity to apply what you're doing at work in a marketing research or marketing strategy course. And the final project is a marketing plan. So in a marketing plan, you need to understand who your customers are, right? For those of you who have learned about marketing, there's always, the marketing mix, which is, what is your product? What is your promotional strategy? How are you going to distribute that product? Where are you going to place it? And what is the pricing strategy for that product? So let's say that that's your final project for this class. For milestone 1, you could be doing research on the pricing strategy for that product, or defining what that product is. So those might be 2 components. By module 5, where you submit the second milestone, maybe you're looking at the other 2 elements: how I am going to promote that product and how I am going to distribute it. Am I going to distribute it only in Indonesia, or am I going to distribute it in other countries in the region? And you work on those different milestones. And then the final project, which consolidates milestones 1 and 3, milestones 1 and 2, which were presented in modules 3 and 5, that is where you put the plan together. And maybe you just have to put a presentation that talks about the marketing plan for introducing, I don't know, a new pencil, or a new mouse pad that you're looking to launch in Indonesia. And so that is how we design our projects. Just to give you an example, of specifically the types of things that you're going to be doing. You're not going to be writing papers. You're not going to be, it's pretty much like, what are some of the things that are typical, very traditional? Completing problem sets. This is not about that. This is about relevant things that you currently do, like putting together a budget, putting together a plan, putting together a proposal, putting together maybe a sales pitch, a presentation, all of those things that we know you need to know in order to be successful in your careers. Next slide, please. So here's just another example. So we use current organization, businesses that you're familiar with, and we do case study analysis about Starbucks, about IKEA, about global companies, like Uniqlo, like H&M. And those are the companies that you're going to see in your assignments all of the time. One great thing about our curriculum is because it is so current. We're current, like right now, if you go into our MBA courses, you're going to see a lot around the pandemic, and how the pandemic has impacted supply chain management, technologies, moving organizations from on ground to more digital, or things, how do you protect or the security of your information and your data, the intellectual property, all of that, when we talk about national disasters, things like a pandemic, how do you adapt to those changes? And so we had to jump into our curriculum and start updating, because our curriculum does not use any textbook. We rely on open educational resources, learning resources that are available for free. And because our content is so updated and we want to make sure that you have the relevant skills, we need to constantly update our content. So it's like, we don't do program reviews like traditional universities, which usually take place every 5 to 7 years. Our curriculum needs to be updated between like 1 to 2 years. And if it's technology programs, we try to do those every year, because we need to make sure that the content is still very applicable to the world as it is today, not a world that is, 5 years ago or 10 years ago. It just doesn't make any sense. Next slide, please. So as you know, we live in a world that is, education is lifelong. So we're constantly learning. When you join your company, you're expected to continue to learn. It's like the education that you got 10, 15 years ago, is not relevant today. So we're constantly wanting your employees to reskill or upskill, right? Their competencies, so they can be up to date with today's problems and future problems. So our Nexford program and our MBA and our undergraduates programs as well, we make sure that the content is current but we also make sure that we allow you the opportunity to make education lifelong, that every time that you want to come back to Nexford, even if it's not for a degree, that we have new programs, that we have new certificates, that we have new courses, new badges that you can complete in order to always stay ahead of the game. We are building our curriculum in a modular way. What does that mean? That maybe, you can in the future, and this is what we're shooting for, our curriculum in every course, you can decide and say, I don't want to take this full course in, I don't know, in doing business in China, because I'm also looking to explore doing business in India. So maybe I want to take module 2 and 3 from doing business in China, which is one course, and then do modules 2 and 3 from doing business in India, and maybe do another 2 modules from doing business in sub-Saharan Africa, combine the 6 modules, and then we create one course that is specifically for your needs. That's what we call it, modular. And then, of course, our courses are digital. Everything is digital. You can access your courses. We have learners that while they're taking their bus back home or their train back home, they're learning on their phone. They're listening to videos, listening to lectures from their faculty member in their live engagements. Your tablets, your computers, everything is accessible. As long as you have internet connection, you can access the live content. But if you don't have an internet connection, our Nexford learning environment is also offline ready, meaning you can download this content and just read it while you're in the bus, and so you can always access Nexford learning environment each and every time. It's mobile, it's flexible, it's secure, and you can access it 24/7, 365 days of the year. Next slide, please. Which also brings me to our model. Our model is one that I'm extremely proud of. And I think that's why 99% of our learners would recommend Nexford, because they feel like they're part of a community. We love going to a university because when you go to campus, you feel connected to that campus, to that university. Well, at Nexford, we try to build that by the level of connections that we have available to our learners. We have groups in Facebook. We have groups in Instagram. We have thousands of learners and alumni in LinkedIn that are always connected to us. So we have our faculty located in South Africa, in the United States, in multiple states in the United States. In the Philippines, we have faculty. So there's always a faculty around. So you have a question, you don't have to wait 1, 2, 3 days to hear back from a faculty member. You can get an answer in seconds. The same thing with our academic advisors. We call them success advisors. They are committed to your success. They're available 24/7, 365 days of the year. So this support model, where you can talk to anyone in Facebook if you're in Facebook, in Instagram if you're in Instagram, in LinkedIn if you're in LinkedIn, in the Nexford learning environment, so our platform, in email, 24/7. Learners are never alone. They always all get together. They build cohorts. They build study groups. Where are you in Indonesia? Where are you in Nigeria? And they get together and they study and they meet. So that sense of community, it's always there. That sense of social learning is always there. And your faculty member is always reachable. We have faculty members that are constantly, texting with their learners. We have live engagement sessions every week, in addition to virtual office hours. So our faculty member are always there to speak to you. Next slide. So what do you need to join our programs? It's very simple. If you are pursuing an MBA, you need to have a bachelor's degree. So providing an unofficial transcript, providing a certificate or a diploma indicating that you have a bachelor's degree is all you need to start this process. Your ID, and then if you have a proof of English proficiency, for example, if you work for a company that you're required to speak English, and you can get a letter, from your supervisor indicating that your company is English is what is spoken 100% of the time. Or you can say that your bachelor's degree was from a university or was in English, was taught in English. You can also use that to demonstrate that your English proficiency. But in addition to that, you can take a free exam that we offer. I've taken it. It takes, maybe 40 minutes of your time, and that will give us, whether you are proficient in the English language. And you can take that exam as many times as you want. If you want to have more information about what are the admission requirements at Nexford, you can go to our website at nexford.org/admissions, and you can find a list of all the items. But pretty much, it's very simple. In fact, you can just fill out the application, show your ID, an official ID, take a selfie and upload that selfie so that we know that it matches the person that is actually applying. And then, and that starts the process. And then you provide the documentation as you go. And the great thing is that we have monthly starts, meaning you can complete your admissions this week and you can start September 1st, or you can do it October 1st, so next month. In fact, you can complete your admissions now, your application, and you can say, you know what, I want to start December 1st. I don't want to start next month. So you can also defer that admission for a future term if that is more convenient for you. Again, we're very flexible. We're very adaptable. Next slide, please. So 3 very easy steps to complete your enrollment. You apply using your preferred email address. That's the email address that we will use as your identifier, as your ID. You pay a $20 application fee. Then you receive an admission decision letter, which usually takes about a week or less, depending on, if there are a number of documentations that you need to submit. And then you choose your course start date and start your monthly tuition payments, and then complete an orientation course, which can be done online, has been designed so that you can complete it within 2 days at your own pace. And that's it, If you apply today, you have a 20% scholarship by applying with Jobhun. So that's why we have partnered with Jobhun, so that you also can get that discount. If you have any inquiries about this, you can email help@nexford.org. Next slide. And I think that's it. Any questions? I know I've seen some of you have been typing in the chat area, but I don't know if you want to go ahead and ask questions now.
Okay, we can jump into the question sessions. Maybe for the Jane Alabi. So the question is, are there plans to include sustainable fashions under the sustainability specializations?
If sustainable fashion, like that area of specialization, that would be something that, one of the things that we are constantly doing is we're gathering data from our learners. So if this is a program that you're really interested in, always feel free to send us emails. Like right now, we're opening 2 new programs. We're going to be launching in 2022. One is in technology management, and a bachelor's degree in marketing, because learners were asking for it. There's another area that a lot of learners are asking for, which is computer science and early childhood development. So if a fashion, under sustainability is something that you want to pursue, you can look at the curriculum for sustainability to see if this is something that we're covering. And if not, it's something that we can definitely expand to.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Sheila. Hope it's answer for the Jane questions. All right, we can jump into the second question. So from Nuria Ulfa. So is that okay if my previous major is English Education Department, then I want to take the MBA program?
The English education, it seems, that should be enough. If you can get some kind of a certificate or a credential that demonstrates that, then it should be more than enough to demonstrate English proficiency. The admissions team can definitely evaluate it and let you know if the credential, but From my understanding, that should be more than enough.
All right, thank you, Dr. Sheila, for its answer.